Would you like to proceed, Mayor?
Yes, please.
This is a meeting of the Borough of Highlands Mayor and Council regular meeting, Wednesday, December 15th, 2021, at 8 p.m. Executive session was canceled. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times and by posting at the Borough of Highlands Municipal Building and filing with the Borough Clerk all on January 1st, 2021. Items listed on the agenda are subject to change. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will now call roll. Councilmember Martin?
Here.
Councilmember Mazzola? Here. Councilmember Melnick?
Here.
Council President Olszewski? Here. Mayor Briand?
Here.
On tonight's agenda, we have approval of minutes for the special meeting minutes October 18, 2021, meeting minutes November 10th, 2021, meeting minutes November 30th, 2021, meeting minutes December 1st, 2021, and special meeting minutes December 6th, 2021.
I believe we had some absences in these meetings, so I'll just, I'll offer the first ones. And if you were absent, you need to abstain.
I'll second. Councilmember Martin?
Oh, yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Olszewski?
Yes.
Mayor Briand?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt. The minute meetings for November 10th, 2021. Do we have an
I
offer?
will offer that as well.
I'll second.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Olszewski?
Yes.
Mayor Briand?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt. November 30th, 2021 meeting minutes.
I will offer that as well.
I'll second.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Olszewski?
Yes.
Mayor Briand?
Yes.
November 30th. Were you at the November 30th? I'm sorry, Councilmember Mazzola.
No, it was a special no.
A special. Okay. Thank you. Approval of meeting minutes for December 1st, 2021.
I will make it.
I'll second.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Olszewski?
Yes.
Mayor Briand?
Yes.
And a special meeting minutes from December 6th, 2021.
Before we go there, I wanted to go back to 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
Both council members, Mazzola and Martin, were absent for that meeting,
Okay.
so you'll have to change your vote to abstain.
That's
For November 30th.
Correct.
We'll mark on the record, Councilmember Martin was absent, so it's not a station. Okay.
And the 12/6 meeting was skate park special meeting, and I will
Mhm.
offer that.
second.
Councilmember Martin?
Abstain.
Okay. Councilmember Mazzola?
Abstain.
Okay. Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Olszewski?
Yes.
Mayor Briand?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries to adopt. Next item on the agenda is resolutions. First, we have R 21-228, a resolution authorizing the payment of bills.
I'll offer that.
I'll second.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Olszewski?
Yes.
Mayor Briand?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt. Next, we have R 21-229, a resolution increasing the amount of the non-fair and open contract for professional wastewater engineering services regarding improvements at the Waterwitch wastewater pump station.
I will offer that as well.
I'll second.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Oshowski?
Yes.
Mayor Brion?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt. Next, we have R 21-230, a resolution authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract for professional emergency medical services between the Borough of Highlands and JFK Medical Center for EMS services.
Just to explain this a little, we are contracting with JFK for our third year, and we are going to raise the hours instead of 8 hours per day from 9 to 5. They're going to be from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. We've also doing shared service with Atlantic Highlands that will pay for half of it, so we get more coverage for less money. And with that, I'll offer it.
I'll second.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Just a quick question, Mayor. This is the same agreement that we already approved in a previous session.
Correct.
Had to get kicked back because Atlantic had to debate this meeting.
Right. They,
Actually, the agreement with JFK, there's two separate ones. One is the agreement with JFK,
there's another agreement with,
JFK, previous one to the agreement with JFK.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you. So, yes.
that they will now sign. I already signed that last month.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Council President Oshowski?
Yes.
Mayor Brion?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt. Next, we have R 21-231, a resolution authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract for professional engineering services in connection with the improvements to King Street and Matthews Street.
I will offer that as well.
I'll second.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Oshowski?
Yes.
Mayor Brion?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt. Next, we have R 21-232, a resolution awarding a fair and open contract for the improvements to King Street and Matthews Street.
We had 3 bidders on this project, and we are going to award to the lowest responsible bidder. And with that, I'll offer it.
I'll second.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Oshowski?
Yes.
Mayor Brion?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt. Next, we have R 21-233, a resolution authorizing window contracts.
I'll just explain this a little bit because it sometimes confuses people. These are for services that are, they're bid, and then if they fall in between 17,500 and the threshold of $4,000, there has to be a resolution in place to bid with these certain contractors. And with that, I'll offer it.
I'll second.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
I just have a question. I'd like to know what all these different companies will be doing. Could I list it, please?
Advanced Micro does the network and the emails. Does the network and the emails. ATC does the telephone system. Backus, I believe we call him in for different issues for public works type stuff. John Dwyer, we get public works equipment, shovels, weed whackers, that type of thing.
Small tools.
Yeah. Realty Data is for
Tax
tax assessor stuff. And Wright National Flood Company is flood insurance.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Oshowski?
Yes.
Mayor Brion?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt. The last resolution for tonight is R 21-234, a resolution authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract for professional engineering and land surveying services for the New Jersey DOT improvements to South Bay Avenue and Hillside Avenue.
I will offer it.
I'll second.
Councilmember Martin?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazzola?
Yes.
Councilmember Melnick?
Yes.
Council President Ochesky?
Yes.
Mayor Brion?
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt. The next item on the agenda is we have reports, and tonight is committee reports.
I'll start.
Go right ahead.
Great, so we'll start with communications. So we're going to take this for all three. We'll do a little highlights for the year in review and then touch on some of the 22 plans for all three of the committees that I am the liaison for. So for communications, we recommended a number of enhancements which have been implemented for the borough website, carrying forward on the redesign which was launched at the tail end of 2020. Those enhancements, some of the high points, the improved content around the government projects at the end of 2020. A lot of those were simply placeholders, and now if you go to the government projects, you'll see that there's actual data or details around those projects, including some of the park and public works efforts that are going around town. Another item was the revised organization around the council meeting materials. So if you look now for the council meeting information, there's just one line item per meeting. So the agenda, the meeting packet, the meeting minutes, the video, all in one line item. So since August and going forward, we have that organization as for the borough council. We have an effort underway to backfill the remainder of 2021, and then we'll backfill some of the other years as well into that format. We have reduced redundancy in links. So, for example, the tax information is no longer under both the government link as well as the department header. It's just under departments. And we've also recently enabled the module on the website to send out a weekly digest in a form of an email to those who subscribe on the website. And so if you sign up, you'll just get all the posts that are on the website delivered to your inbox, so you can just keep up with the news in town. From the social media, we've improved our Facebook engagement. We're up over 100% year to date, 102.8 to be precise, reaching over 46,000 unique accounts from our borough Facebook account. We're approaching 2,700 followers, which is up from approximately 2,200 at the end of April 21. Instagram front, we're up about 50% since the end of April 21, 51.9%. We're about 1,188 as of earlier today. Why is it important to have Instagram as well? Well, Instagram reach is trending to a different audience. It's a younger demographic than Facebook. So if you look at the Facebook demographic, the predominant age brackets are 45 to 54 and 55 to 64. If you look at our Instagram reach, it's 25 to 34 and 35 to 44. Both of those demographics, if you look at Facebook and Instagram, that's 50% in both cases. So Instagram is a key channel for us to stay connected with that younger audience. Twitter continues to lag. We have 29 followers on Twitter, but why is that important? So if you remember back to October of this year, Meta is now the new name for Facebook. Well, Facebook and Instagram both went down in October. Twitter stayed up, so having redundancy in channels is valuable. So that's why it's important for us to be present on all those three social media channels for us. And then lastly, we have multiple pushes for Nixle registration. And why is Nixle important? So Nixle is, of course, used for us to use for the OEM to notify residents for emergencies. What we're going to be using more regularly is using Nixle to notify residents for meetings. And so for both last council meeting as well as this one, we use Nixle to use Inform, letting everybody know when the council meeting is coming up so that folks aren't caught by surprise if they're not on the website or on Facebook. 22 plans for communication, some of the highlights. Continued outreach in active organizations within the community. So think the First Aid Squad, think Historical Society, think the Lions Club. We're free advertising for those organizations, and we're a service to the community. So we want to amplify their message. We're here for them, so we'll be outreaching to those organizations, making sure that they know we're here for them, so that we can continue to bring in traffic for them. We want to augment that meetings module and to use that for things like land use and things like all the various committees as well. If you go to that new module, you'll see there's a drop-down. It's a drop-down choice of one. It's just the Borough Council. We'll include those various other committees and land use as well. We want to revive that welcome packet for new residents. So as new residents come into town, get them acclimated. So there's been talk about, is it a welcome kit when folks come into Borough Hall?
we'll find ways to get people up to speed in town faster. And then we want to refine the strategy for that Nixle usage that I was talking about earlier. Too soon, too late. You know, if we send out Nixle messages a week before, maybe people forget. If we send a message out the day of, maybe people aren't doing their calendar at that point in time. We just have to find the right balance. So that's about it for communications. Moving on to open space. Open space, as we've heard earlier in the year, we completed our first update to the ROSI, the Registry of Open Space Inventory, for the first time since 1992. Open Space also participated in the Earth Day celebration. So Open Space Committee was out there delivering seed packets and talking up the Open Space Committee, trying to drum up some membership. Not all of those efforts were successful, but it was always good to be out there trying. We also tried with Open Space to solicit public feedback for additional open space options. We talked about having interest in a new community garden. We didn't get a whole lot of feedback. That doesn't mean we're going to stop trying. So it was our first attempt. We'll try some more efforts in 22. And one of the good key outcomes in 21, though, was that recruitment didn't fall on deaf ears. We did actively recruit new memberships. So looking into 22, Open Space Committee will be full with 6 full energized team members going into the next year. So that's exciting. So for 22, what are our plans? Mapping out those open space features. So inclusive of what we've discussed in the past, those water access points, we want to make sure that those are both available online as well as in print so we can distribute it out town. So folks know not just where the restaurants are, where the stores are, but where to go and access our parks and our open spaces so folks can enjoy those outdoor items. Of Highlands, we want to also assist in the progression of the development of Overlook Park. Those plans are currently with engineering. And then we want to determine additional areas of underutilized open spaces within the town and partner with grant writers and other nonprofit organizations to improve these areas for access. I'm thinking about Matthew Street Beach. I'm thinking about Frank Hall Park. And of course, we want to work on the development of the, or finalization of the skate park design and get that park up and running so our kids and adults can use that for their enjoyment as well. Lastly, the Shade Tree. That was also a part of the Earth Day celebration where we announced the Trees to the USA designation for year 3. We also used our connections within Shade Tree. Our commissioner used his connections to reach out on resident concerns, both for JCPL concerns about pruning around power lines, as well as some of the growth that's happening up around the Twin Lights. So making sure that we are hearing those concerns and acting to the best we can on those concerns that we do hear. And then also consulting with DPW on actions taking around Gertrude Ederle Park. There was a diseased tree that we're talking about removing, as well as making sure there's a continuity of some of the maintenance, the nuanced maintenance around town. For example, down at Cornwall Park, we've had some turnover at DPW and make sure there's no drop falls as that leadership change is taking place. 22 plans, priority number 1, plantings. We've talked about a lot of ideas around tree specimens and whether or not the applicability of the soil. We want to get trees in the ground as soon as practical in 22, so we can get some of those empty spots filled in. Preparation for Trees to the USA, so we can get for year 4. DPW is ready to assist in that submission. The deadline is February 15th in 22, so that comes up fast, so we need to be ready for that. And then lastly, review and offer revisions as needed to that tree permit application, including language modifications, for example, references to planning board. We know that that's antiquated and we need to make those revisions. And that's it for my 3 committees.
Okay, I'll jump in next. I'll start with assessments, which was a rather big issue in the last couple of months. And we were very proactive in being able to have our tax assessor address any and all who wanted to come. And I think there were somewhere to 50 people that night. And he did a really good job of differentiating assessments and taxes. Oh, thank you. He went to great lengths to explain that and to help people understand that it doesn't necessarily mean that your taxes are going to go up because the value of your property goes up. As a rising tide floats all boats, it enables the borough hopefully to lower our municipal rates. We had a great handout, and as there were 50 people, we decided to now his handout and then embellish it to put a presentation on our Facebook page, on our website, so that anybody who missed it and wants to go deeper in the information and to find out, because there's a deadline. If you don't file your appeal by January 15th, you've lost your chance for this year to appeal your assessment. Okay, and then the other committee that I work with is the schools, and it was very interesting to go to the elementary school board meeting this month. I had been there in the spring and heard them talk about the fact that they were thinking about a rather large bond issue to address a number of issues with the structural issues in the building, the roof, and boilers and whatever. And it appears as though they are going to go forward with it. It is a $5.9 million bond issue, which will come up for referendum in March potentially. We certainly raised issues when you consider that there are 175, I believe, students in the school, and of that, I believe at least 20 are preschool, and the school is pre-K-6. That's a lot of money. So they were saying that they thought they could get a third of it paid over time, and it depended on what interest rate they were able to lay in. It could be anywhere from $150, I believe, to $250,000 on us. So hopefully they're looking at that in a more, I don't know, I can't even think of the word, because in the same time frame, right, we're hopefully working toward regionalizing with 2 other towns. And with Atlantic Highlands and Seabright, but we also have the 3 different school districts that we would bring under one umbrella. 1 superintendent, 1 school board, 1 body that looks at education from pre-K to 12, rather than these segmented looks. So they didn't seem to feel that that would impede Seabright or Atlantic Highlands from wanting to regionalize with us, but that remains to be seen. Also, I'm tracking how the district deals with people who may be in arrears, and I'm digging to find out what the criteria is for notifications to be sent. And jumping up something, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, tax payments in arrears. I have found out that people who move into town in their closing don't always get the tax information and assume that that's been part of their closing, and then get sort of gobsmacked when they realize that they have missed. So I'm looking in to see what the criteria is and how often those notices are sent out, so that particularly for people who are new to town, that they've got the information that they need. And that's about it. That should be up on our website shortly. Yeah, the assessment information.
Doesn't go forward.
Okay. Dan, I know it's not on the packet, but could you just update folks on the large sanitary sewer project from the DEP call this morning?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. We had a conference call with the DEP this morning just to discuss their review process. The plans have been accepted by the DEP. They have no further engineering comments. We're just waiting for the entity of the DEP to review the bid specifications and the contract documents, and they're nearly complete with that review. We anticipate being able to advertise the project for bid either in January or February.
Thank you. Does anyone have anything from the table before I go to the public? Go ahead. Make sure you're on.
I wanted to take this opportunity to thank the residents of Highlands for allowing me to serve them over these past 3 years. I appreciate the opportunity that I had I got to know a lot of you, in a more intimate manner, and, I learned a lot about the town. But, I was fairly a newcomer, and I, took this position, ran and won this position. And I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to make sure that I thanked you all, because I will not be at the New York meeting in January. I will be away. And I would wish the three members of council who will continue to serve the best of luck.
Thank you. I would also like to thank everyone at this table for being probably the best teammates that I've ever had. You guys have been amazing, and it's been great. Linda, the mayor, Don, and Joanne, you guys are awesome, and Karen, we are very lucky to be on the team with the three of you, and I hope they know that. Honestly, this was very special for me. When my grandfather used to come down here and fish and live here, before he died, he knew that his grandson was going to run for council in this town. He would have called me crazy. He lived in a town where it was much different, and I feel like I've made him very proud. I want to thank the voters, taking the time to get to know me and supporting me and pushing me through this. Some of them I'm very close with, people who I sat and talked to all the time. I appreciate their support and their votes. Most importantly, I have to thank my fiance. She was my bodyguard throughout this entire thing. I mean, she used to get very frustrated that I was so calm about things, and she was not happy. And she had my back throughout this entire process. So I'm not sure how far I would have gotten without her support. And finally, realistically, for whatever you feel for the town, this town is going forward, and this town is trying to go forward with everybody, even if they don't necessarily like the things that happen, or it doesn't necessarily match their idea. This town has come a long way. It's bounced back from economic upheaval in this country, Sandy, you name it, this town has bounced back, and now this town is moving forward in ridiculously great hands. And all I have to say is, be a part of that change, be a part of that forward progress. Don't get left behind, because you don't have to. Everyone has a reason to be at the table and voice their opinions, even if they're not necessarily the opinions you want to hear, but everyone has a voice. And I think that this town has shown that more than any other town on the Bay Shore and parts of New Jersey. So thank you guys very, very much.
I was going to save this till the end and after public portion, but since we have these two lovely speeches here, I would like to thank both council members for their service, for being part of the team, for agreeing to disagree at times, but always being part of the process and part of the team. It's important, and we're not all here to agree on everything all the time. And with that, I do thank people. The town thanks you for your service. And with that, I'll open it to the public.
Can I just read my statement, Mayor?
Of course you can.
Thank you.
Put the jacket for it.
Individuals wishing to address the council shall be recognized by the proceeding officer and shall give their name, address, and the group, if any, they represent. Although the council encourages public participation, it reserves the right through its presiding officer to terminate remarks to and/or by any individual not in keeping with the conduct of a proper and efficient meeting. If any individual refuses to conduct themselves in a proper manner, they will be removed from the meeting. The council will not, during the public portion of this meeting, discuss matters involving employment, appointment, termination of employment, negotiations, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of the performance of, promotion of, discipline of any specific or prospective or current employee. There's a 3-minute time limit for your comment. Thank you.
Tina Kemmel, 164 Linden Avenue. First of all, I find it hard, Councilman Martin, that you need a bodyguard. Just saying. And also, I just want to stand here to say that I want to be a part of the change. I want to progress and I want to move forward. So I appreciate your words, both of your words, Councilman. And I guess that's why, and also, one of the committee reports about the website, it's fantastic. We're like moving, forward. So I guess that's why I'm here to talk about our 2012 and backwards zoning schedule with our recyclables and our trash removal. And again, I'm here, I'm probably going to come up here almost at every meeting, because this is my mission, is we need to move forward. And times have changed. Amazon is here to stay, people working from home are here to stay. And as I think, the borough administrator has gotten my email regarding the issues that I have seen firsthand, and I'm not the only one. So I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Carpenter, the new DPW. He's a great guy, very forthcoming, and he seems like he's going to be a great asset to the township here. And he actually drove by in his pickup truck today to check out our dumpsters and our recycle bins, and he kind of gave me some insight about, what he feels. But I'm just here to say that this is a 2012 brochure, and this is as current as the one from 2002, 1992, and from 2000 and going into 2022. So what that means to me is that if we can update and move forward with our website and do all these great things, how can we be so antiquated? I mean, can't we just have even small little incremental changes instead of every second and fourth recyclable, Wednesday, make it every other Wednesday? I mean, that saves, like, if you think about December, we're kind of screwed over because it's a long month. And it's also like packages galore. We must get 10 to 12 delivery trucks in our complex every day. So I say this now, it's the end of the calendar year. I do understand that the budget comes up, like the state of New Jersey, into the summertime. But please consider whatever we contract, we renegotiate with Roselli. We must try to capture, greater opportunity for, beautifying, keeping our township beautiful, and that includes with the trash and recyclables. So thank you for listening. I was a little remiss that I didn't get a reply back from you, but, that's why I'm here to talk about it.
I was actually out, and I'd asked
Oh, well, how dare you?
Yeah, and one of the things with the contract, it is up in May of next year.
May.
So in January.
Mr. Carpenter wasn't sure about that, so he knew that it's a point to review, and he was very good at giving, taking in my feedback. So please consider, additional options, and if you'd like this as a souvenir, I'll be happy to give it.
Sure.
Thank you.
I would like to say that I thank you, Tina, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. We were having the same issues in our condo community. And as a president of our condo community, I decided to actually get rid of the public dumpsters that we had because it was just exploding. And yeah, ours was even worse than that. And now we keep the receptacles inside our garages. So now our garages are exploding. But at the very least, we're not getting fines and we're not spilling out onto the sidewalk. So I agree with you 100%. And I would suggest that perhaps you could have a conversation with the refuse company and try and amend the contract before it expires in May.
Seeing no one else? Oh, you are? Just go to the microphone. Please state your name and address for the record.
Louise Titus, 32 Ocean Avenue. A little nervous, it's the first time I've ever come and spoke here, so, but Kevin made me feel a little better by saying, get involved. I was here because I wanted to make some comments about the ordinance 7-3.5 on the parking in the municipal lots, because I saw the signs that just gone up. So I live right here on Ocean Avenue. I'm going to refer to my notes a little bit. So that lot has been a godsend to this area. The residents on Central and Ocean use it frequently. Parking has been an issue for this area, still kind of is a little bit, and that has really been very helpful. But now that we can't park overnight, I had some concerns about things like, if we can't park there overnight, when we park on the street, sometimes you can't park there if it's snow covered, which I understand, I get that. Then there's sometimes you can't park on certain things on Fridays, the last Friday of the month on Church Drive, other Fridays, every Friday, because the street sweeping, and I understand that those things are all necessary too. But coupled with not being able to be in the lot overnight, it makes it a little more challenging as to where people can park. And almost in my head, it's almost like city alternate side of the street parking, I moved to the country, which is what we used to call this when I came here as a child, to get away from that sort of mentality. So I just kind of wanted to bring some of those back to your attention, as well as the fact that we do get flooding down at that corner of Central and Ocean. So sometimes, especially since Superstorm Sandy, brings up a lot of anxiety when we think about flooding. Not that I think that we're going to get that, but it still is. It's like a PTSD, So, it may flood. So maybe the next day when I have to go to work, the night before I'm going to put my car in the parking lot. Because I'm not going to want to drive through that. Because I can come and go out the other side of the lot. So, because there's 2 access points that flood. But now, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So I thought maybe some things like that could be taken into consideration and maybe a review of that ordinance. Let's see. I think those are really the points, is that the residents down here, specifically that lot, tend to use it. Overnight company, things like that. So I would ask that maybe we can talk about some alternatives to help the residents still kind of stay within their community, but also not be too impacted by not being able to be in the lot overnight. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, hello. My name is Russell Dunn. I'm 23 Central. I want to apologize that I was late. I wish I would have heard the whole meeting. I just want to say thank you. I'm very happy about the Centenary grant for the skate park. That's very exciting. I just have a question. So Spawn Ranch out the contract, right? Spawn Ranch? Yeah, because they built Neptune. They got a couple good parks that I see it. So, I spoke to the guy, I emailed him, and, he said that there's going to be, a community review on, the design, where people can talk about it.
Yes, it's Zoom meeting.
Oh, it's going to be a Zoom meeting, and, I just wanted to know the dates.
It's not set yet, but it will be published once it is, and it will be interactive.
Okay. And then, I was just curious, just for the whole community center in general, do you guys, know when you guys going to break ground and stuff? I seen how you did the Veterans Park with the workout. That's cool. That's really nice. They have that in Long Ridge, too. Right on there. That's cool. I was just curious, when is that going to start?
Once we finish with, putting in the surface area for both Cuddy Park and for the swings at Veterans Park, once that's completed, then we're going to move on to outside.
Yeah, because I know the flooding issues, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when does that break ground?
Well, we have to wait, because we have to wait for the licensed installer. Our guys can't do it. Well, they could do it, but due to insurance and, JIF covering things in case somebody gets hurt, we have to have the installer do all of the work for the parks. So we're sort of on their timeline. We're hoping that, I think he said 2 to 3 weeks, probably 2 to 4, just, because then you're right up against Christmas
So
and,
we're talking about the playgrounds, right?
right, you're talking
Are you
about playground, or
the
you're talking
skate
about
park?
courts.
Well, I was talking about, well, obviously, I was guessing because you guys are keeping all the equipment in the skate park that got, which was all beat up. So you guys are locking up all the equipment while it's getting built. I noticed that, like the playground equipment.
That's correct.
I seen them drop it off and stuff,
Yeah.
so they're keeping it for storage, I get that.
Yeah.
So when, obviously, I figured when they finish the park, they'll get to the,
Sure.
they have to clear the area.
Yeah.
Correct.
But I seen they cut down the basketball courts and everything.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, so you gotta, I'm just trying to understand the process, what the game plan is, and I should have been here on time.
That's okay. For the courts, both the basketball and the tennis courts, we also need to do some site remediation around there. They want us to dig out some of the old, earth and then put in fresh on top and maybe seed it. There's been talk of doing a walkway that's concrete instead of the asphalt,
So
so,
we were talking about the spring for that, right?
Yeah.
In terms of having that ready?
Yeah, that's the plan. There are a few grants in play. There's an existing Monmouth County Open Space grant that is for the playground equipment, redoing the surface of the basketball and tennis courts, and the goals there, and doing some of those site improvements like the sidewalk and remediating that soil. And then once that is done, the skate park work will start. So you have to anticipate it's probably going to be most likely in the spring that everything is finished, probably late spring.
So you're talking late spring to break ground on building the skate park? Or just,
To finish the tennis court, basketball court work. So here's what I'd say, Mr. Dunn. I would say that by the time we're at that design session, we'll probably have better timings around when all that work will be done,
Alright.
to the point where we'll be able to project better for the groundbreaking on the skate park work itself.
okay, all right, no, just, all right.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, appreciate it.
seeing no one else, I'll close public portion.
Can I follow up with one more thing?
Sure.
I just wanted to know if I wanted to follow up to see if anything that I talked about is going to be taken into consideration. Who do I reach out to? Okay, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'll close public portion. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Have a happy, New Year, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff, and I hope everyone gets some nice time off. Good night, do we have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
All second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Didn't want to do this.